month. But without direction, that money always slips right through your fingers. It disappears into coffees, subscriptions you forgot to cancel, and random online purchases. This is financial drift. Unassigned dollars silently vanish into your daily lifestyle, and you never even notice they are gone until the account is empty. Hoping the leftovers will stretch to the end of the month is not a budget. It is a completely passive strategy, and it guarantees that your money will leak away. When people try to fix this leakage, they usually turn to traditional budgeting. They sit down, log into their bank, and review what they spent over the last 30 days. This fails almost every time because it relies entirely on looking backward. Tracking your expenses after the fact is essentially a financial autopsy. You are carefully documenting exactly where your money died, but you have absolutely no power to step in and save it. Unless you assigned strict, specific numerical boundaries before you spend a dime, a traditional budget is really just wishing with math. When you operate without those boundaries, you create a psychological vacuum. You never actually know if you have enough money to cover your needs, and that uncertainty breeds stress. You end up carrying a dual burden. On one side, you have chronic, low-level anxiety that you aren't saving enough for your future. On the other side, you feel a vague sense of guilt every single time you spend money on a dinner out or a hobby. Chronic financial anxiety is a symptom of financial uncertainty. If you want to cure the anxiety, you have to systematically destroy the uncertainty. The solution comes from an unlikely place. In the early 1970s, managers at Texas Instruments developed a ruthless accounting tool that forced corporate departments to justify every expense from scratch every year. It was highly effective, and Jimmy Carter, pictured here, adopted it for the state of Georgia, later pushing it across the federal government. It is called zero-based budgeting. When applied to your personal finances, reaching zero terrifies people because they assume it means ending the month completely broke. That is a misunderstanding of the math. This animation shows how the math actually works. You take your total monthly take-home pay, and then that large block of income funnels into perfectly sized categories: rent, groceries, debt, savings, until the starting block is depleted to exactly zero. Every single dollar gets assigned a specific job. The defining rule of the system is timing. Look at how the calendar locks in here. This exhaustive assignment of your dollars must happen prior to the first day of the month. By locking in the math early, you stop acting as a passive observer of your bank account and become an active architect of your wealth. This structured allocation immediately targets the fear of never getting ahead. Instead of saving whatever is left over at the end of the month, you write down your savings and investment contributions at the very beginning, treating them as non-negotiable, fixed expenses. The advice to pay yourself first is often treated as a motivational quote. In a zero-based system, it is a structural reality. You literally cannot finish building the budget without accounting for your wealth. Then, you tackle the fear of unexpected emergencies. You do this by setting up what accountants call sinking funds to cover irregular expenses. This graphic illustrates the mechanism. Take a terrifying $1,200 annual car insurance bill. The block fractures into 12 equal segments of $100 distributed evenly across a timeline. You save that small, boring amount every month, and the money is waiting there when the bill arrives. Sinking funds neutralize the biggest threat to your financial stability. They eliminate financial emergencies simply by predicting them. To make this work, you have to be honest about your spending. You calculate your variable expenses, like groceries and fuel, based on the harsh reality of your last 3 months of bank statements, not optimistic guesses built on willpower. And if you reach the end of your list and still have $200 left over, you cannot let it sit there. The equation must equal zero. You have to actively assign that surplus to extra debt payments, a savings goal, or next month's buffer. Conversely, if your expenses exceed your income, the equation goes negative. You are immediately forced to make a conscious trade-off to balance the math, completely removing your ability to hide from financial reality. The numbers are effective, but the ultimate benefit of the system is what it does to your mindset once every single dollar has a predefined job. A proper zero-based budget explicitly demands that you allocate money for your hobbies, for dining out, and for entertainment. You write the fun into the plan. When you are swiping your card for a dinner you already budgeted for, the psychological weight disappears. the purchase is entirely guilt-free because it represents the execution of a deliberate, pre-approved plan. Granting yourself explicit permission to spend your money is just as vital to the long-term success of the system as the discipline required to save it. Because the budget is locked at zero, the framework makes your financial trade-offs highly visible. If you